Hello and welcome to another Talking Head Yo-Yo review. As you know, we have plenty of these on the internet. So, the yo-yo that we will be reviewing today is the Whimsy Aloha Encore, a yo-yo you have never heard of or probably want to know about. Okay, so before we actually tell you of anything of importance, let me just say that I'm not an unbiased yo-yo reviewer, as you probably already suspected. I am a sponsored player by Smash and Yo-Yo Company, and also the company Whimsy Yo-Yos actually gave me this yo-yo to review. Okay, and before I even tell you stuff of even more importance, I'm just going to say that this is a completely opinionated yo-yo review like you were expecting. And just as another heads up, this is so not my usual content. I don't know if you people know this, but I do yo-yo element series all day, so this is definitely not a usual thing for me to make a yo-yo review. So I'm just going to make this the most sarcastic thing you have ever heard, and also hopefully make you laugh today instead. Okay, let's jump into this terrible yo-yo review. Okay, so, specs. I'm reading this off my phone from the Yo-Yo News, so excuse me if I'm looking down a lot. So, diameter is 55 millimeters, width is 43, weight is 65 grams, and it's it takes a 19 millimeter pad, and it's a size C bearing. Alright, so here's some things I like about this yo-yo. The yo-yo is very smooth in hand. It's a very nice finish. Plus, the bimetal rim is actually flush with the yo-yo, which is something that not a lot of bimetals have, and I like quite a lot about this yo-yo. Some other things about this yo-yo is the shape is very nice. It's kind of like a G2 Aftershock, so that if you like the G2 Aftershock, that's also very good. And it's also a nice heavy playing yo-yo. If you like heavy playing yo-yos, this is a great yo-yo for you. And for me, I kind of like a little bit lighter of a yo-yo, so if I were to have this yo-yo again, I probably would take off a gram or two and have it around 63, because the weight rims do add a lot of weight to it, or at least you feel like it, because it plays closer to about a 68 gram yo-yo, even though it's only 65 grams. Which is perfectly fine. I do have plenty of yo-yos in that weight range. However, they don't play nearly as heavy as this one does. Some other things I like about this yo-yo is that it's a very laid-back yo-yo. It's not exactly slow moving, but it's one that I could definitely see myself using when I have it out with me. But it's not exactly my go-to yo-yo. It plays very heavy, and I'm not a big fan of heavy yo-yos, or at least I am a big fan of heavy yo-yos. It's just that I don't like them when they're slow moving. However, this yo-yo is pretty good with horizontal. However, I'm not the person to ask about horizontal because I'm not exactly a horizontal professional like some Japanese players are, and I can only really do stuff with trapeze and horizontal, so just keep that considered. Some other things about this yo-yo is that it's not great for rejections. I think it has a little bit to do with how they made the gap, but that's perfectly okay if you're not really into rejections like me. Some other things about this yo-yo that I do like as well is that the finish is very nice. It's very soft to the touch. I think it's a blast. I'm really not sure. It's like in the in-between between a hard coat and a blast. It's very smooth to the feel, and it's soft, which not a lot of yo-yos have for like finish-wise, and I absolutely love this about most Whimsy yo-yos, that they have this finish. And it's a pretty good yo-yo. I mean, it wouldn't be like my go-to. I mean, if I were to pick a few out, because it's for me, when I have to pick yo-yos out, or at least when I think about picking out yo-yos for the day, it would be generally I would be tied between picking out the Whimsy Aloha Encore or the new Smash and Yo Interlagos, because they both play very similar, except the Interlagos moves a little bit faster. Now, here's some gripes I have about this yo-yo. For one, it plays really heavy. This is also a plus, a positive, and a minus depending on who you're talking to. For me, it's a little bit of a minus because I think they could have taken off a gram or two. Some other things about this yo-yo that I don't really like are, it's not great for finger spins, but that's kind of what you get when you put a bump in the yo-yo. And another thing about it is that I just don't think this is the best yo-yo that Whimsy has done. I think they've done better yo-yos in the past, and it's not the yo-yo I want it to be for this company, because I have high expectations for this company, because the first yo-yo I got from Whimsy was the Whimsy Roar, and the packaging and the laser engravings on that yo-yo were great, and I found it to be a great, like, just plain old good yo-yo, especially since when it was released around when the Shattered Horizon were at their peak for buying. Even though the Shattered Horizon are still at their peak, I thought it was I thought it was like better than those yo-yos. And I also found like the packaging to be hilarious. I just thought they were the coolest things ever. And this yo-yo doesn't do that for me. The packaging is alright. It's kind of reminiscent of some Caribou Lodge yo-yos. And with like a yo-yo as well, it's good. It's there. Some other things to consider is that when you get the yo-yo out of the box, for starters, it comes with a black string, which I can't stand black string. So if that's your kind of string, then go ahead. But I don't like them because I can't see them in most situations. Plus, also, the bearing that this yo-yo came with was absolute garbage. It was like an 8 or 10 ball flat bearing, and it was like the noisiest thing ever. Now, this is coming from someone who never switches out yo-yo bearings and generally plays with the stock bearing that a yo-yo comes with. And I found this to be noisy, and even after I put sewing machine oil in it, even if you're not picky about yo-yo bearings like me, I still recommend that you switch it out because I had to in order to do this yo-yo review. Complain about a few things to you guys. For one thing, the name of this yo-yo confuses me very much so because it's called the Aloha Encore. If you guys don't know, the Whimsy Aloha was a completely different yo-yo. This doesn't remind me anything of the Whimsy Aloha. The shape is completely different. I just don't find any reminiscence of like the Aloha in this yo-yo. If I were to, actually I probably will put two pictures right next to each other. So, as you can see, they're not very similar. The branding confuses me a little bit because I think I would just call this the Encore and have it at that. But instead they put Aloha next to it, and now it confuses me because it's not similar to the Aloha at all. I don't think this is a similar yo-yo to it, and it really confused me with the marketing. Plus, the Aloha also was very interesting because it had like flocked versions of it, where it's just like kind of like that velvety stuff that some yo-yos had, and I found that to be very cool. But they didn't do that with the Aloha Encore either, so it confused me. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this completely legit yo-yo review from what you were expecting, because you guys are probably expecting like the most sarcastic thing ever, which I completely get because I kind of did that. So, yeah. Anyways, enjoy. Yeah. Bye.